countdown to the last comic shop in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Live from the Cincinnati Union Terminal. It's now time for more of the Last Comic Shop podcast.
That's right. We missed our Amtrak train, so we're stuck in Cincinnati. Horrible.
No, I just came back from Ohio, and I was shocked to learn there are multiple towns in Ohio. I felt like that guy from It's Sunny in Philadelphia. It's like, did you know that Pittsburgh's in Pennsylvania? Like, Philadelphia's in Pennsylvania. He's like, am I in Pittsburgh right now? Am I going in and out of Pittsburgh throughout the day?
I'm the host with the most, Daniel Larson. I've been to Ohio several times. I've never been to this train station, though, which, by the way, is the building that they modeled the Hall of Justice off, which is not in today's book, but the characters that hang out at the Hall of Justice are.
Yes. In the new Superman movie, they actually filmed the Hall of Justice at the actual location, and you can see in certain shots the signs that say Track A and Track B, and it's really confusing because they never indicate that it's a train station. It's just there. So, yeah.
That is Mikey Wood that will be joining us for this week's episode, as well as my two regular co-hosts, Chad Smith and JLA Scott. And speaking of that book, Mikey, what book are we reading?
We are reading The Nail. It's Justice League The Nail by Alan Davis. It's a wonderful little Elseworldsy story about what would happen if one tiny little thing changed.
By the way, speaking of that, what did Mark Farmer do on this book?
He's Alan Davis's longtime inker.
And Patricia Mulvihill did the coloring. And
Patricia Prentice did the lettering. Lots of Patricias.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, I think that we just did all the creators of this particular book, so we can move straight from that into the 10-cent synopsis, which we're going to give that illustrious job to one J.A. Scott. J.A., what happens in JLA, The Nail?
The Kents get a flat tire on the day that they're meant to go to Smallville and come across Superman's spaceship, so they don't go to Smallville. They go back inside and do the hanky-panky. At least that's what it's alluded to. They're going to spend a day at home because he doesn't have a spare. The tire had a nail in it, hence the name. It's all based on this illusion that for want of a nail, a shoe doesn't go on a horse, and then the horse can't fight, and then the soldier can't fight, and then the army loses, and basically a nail can change history. So Superman doesn't become Superman, or at least isn't raised by the Kents. There's no Superman. It's a world without Superman. Lex Luthor becomes president, outlaws metahumans in Metropolis because Metropolis was crime-ridden because there was no Superman. And then Metropolis turns into a beautiful police state, but really nice to live there, sort of like Singapore. And ultimately, spoilers alert, which they don't really get into, but all these things happen because there's no Superman. There's this giant fight. Jimmy Olsen, they don't explain why he becomes a total dickweed, though. Maybe he was always one? I don't know. That's the thing. That was the part of the nail I didn't get. Because I don't see how having no Superman then turns Jimmy Olsen into, like, the ultimate villain.
It's the genetic code. Is Lutherified.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
The lofty things that Jimmy Olsen could rise to in a world without Superman. Superman was keeping him down. He needed to make him his pal and give him a watch and things. With Superman there, like, Jimmy Olsen could not become master bad guy extraordinaire.
But would Jimmy Olsen still have been Turtle Boy and Elasticlad and all the
he was all
stuff?
he was all these fun things, and then I guess what the bad juju Kryptonian DNA turned him into. I don't know. They had like Bizarro Superman there for a little bit, and then he died, and then there's like Bizarro clone Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but they don't. Yeah. They all burn out really quick because it's bad Luthor tech.
Yeah, Bizarro Jimmy's just a dick.
Yeah,
it's true. But it is one of those things where it follows other comic books in which metahumans are outlawed, and there is a Justice League. It's made up of the other members other than Superman. So Batman, Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, The Flash, Green Lantern. Green Arrow was a member, and then he got his ass kicked by Amazo, and he became all bitter.
Which is, I mean, he's the one that's really true to form. Everybody else is kind of a pastiche of their actual characters, but Green Arrow is like, yes, that is exactly what would happen.
So my thing about this, I bought this for the Alan Davis because Alan Davis could honestly draw a comic book that's like pictures making fun of me naked or whatever, and I would still buy it and still think it's the best thing ever because he's amazing. Whether he's a good writer or not, jury's out there, but I thought this was fun. But anyway, I wish I would have touched on it more. I think the key thing that I got out of this was that Superman not being Superman, yes, it affects everybody, but it primarily affected Jimmy because he didn't have his pal. Superman's friendship with Jimmy Olsen means that much. And I wish they would have touched on that a little bit because that's what it comes down to me. Without Superman there as a guiding force and friend to Jimmy, this is what happens with Jimmy.
Well, because they don't emphasize that, there's a scene in the end where he's like, "We could have been friends."
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you talking about, Super Dick Jimmy Olsen?
Yeah.
By the way, Superman does exist. Kal-El is there. He was raised by Amish folks who end up getting torched by Jimmy Olsen in a very horrific scene. It's crazy, and that makes Superman, rise up and fight Jimmy Olsen.
That I totally didn't agree with, because if you're raised by Amish, you're not going to suddenly throw off all those years of Amish raising to go fisticuffs with someone who just killed your parents.
Mennonites are a little looser. Maybe that's what they were.
I don't know, though. You see that earlier on, they had the buggy and the clip-clop down the street.
Did they have buttons or snaps? Did they have buttons? Who knows? I will say this. Like Mikey, I agree that Alan Davis could draw anything, and I will absolutely love it. I was a huge, huge fan of his run on Excalibur. Just gorgeous, gorgeous stuff from when I was a kid. And he does draw a really pretty girl. I'll say this, Catwoman looks nice in this book. So does Wonder Woman. So does Black Canary. So does Lois Lane. They all look good, which is great.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That Batwoman costume isn't doing it for me.
Batwoman.
I liked her when she was hanging out in the robe. She was hanging out in the robe in the Batcave when Batman was it looked like he was wearing a flesh suit. I didn't that was weird. The coloring in that scene was a little bit off. He kind of looked like he was wearing a brown. It's what is this? But I will say this. I really liked this book. It was my pick, and I did want to read this on this week's show because it's one of those Elseworlds that I've always wanted to read. And it recently came out in a deluxe edition where you can get this and the sequel, which I think is called Another Nail. We didn't read that one. But what this book reminds me of, why I like the Kurt Busiek, George Perez Avengers run, in Volume 3 of the Avengers after Heroes Reborn. It's got nice art, and at the end of the day, all the characters are just kind of what you would expect from those characters. The Batman is kind of Batman. He does the Batman-y things. Flash does the Flash things. Atom does the Atom things. Wonder Woman does the Wonder Woman things. And then they pepper in some kind of neat characters. Did anybody else catch that Shade the Changing Man was there? The original Shade the Changing Man with his M vest.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. We all got that. We're all excited. Not.
For me, it was like cake. It was like watching an episode of the Super Friends or something. These are all again, what you think of those characters. Green Lantern is Green Lantern. And sure, there is some nuance to that, but at the same time, it was just candy to me. I liked it. But it seems like JA has a different point of view.
Yeah, it was a bit empty calories for me. I sort of I was reading the comic book equivalent of a Law and Order episode. So it's good. You watch it. You kind of know what the beats are going to be. There might be a twist or two, and then Jack McCoy says something inspiring, and it ends. Executive producer Dick Wolf. That's what I felt this was
that's
like.
Right.
I thought that Red Sun did the whole what happens if Superman, doesn't grow up with the Kents. a whole lot better, a whole lot more interesting. I thought the thought experiment didn't go far enough. Everything else was just kind of the same, but Jimmy Olsen was a dick, and it was just like, I thought it was weak sauce, I guess.
I do think it would have been interesting to have seen. I think Superman's impact. What am I trying to say? His missing from all of these people's histories should have had bigger impact in my mind.
Yes.
I don't think it should have been basically kind of like status quo, but without him. I think many of them should have been differently. I think Superman is very often the sort of inspirational sort of key, even though the JSA and everything exists in this version, JSA was in the past and everything. I think they've gone, that switches depending upon when you read DC Comics, but for the most part, JSA existed in the 40s and 50s or whatever, 30s and 40s. But anyway, I think that Superman should have been sort of like the keystone, sort of like the North Star for all of these different characters. Maybe some people would have become villains if Superman didn't exist. Maybe some people would have had different career paths and didn't become maybe Barry Allen, never became. Maybe Barry's father never was accused of anything and he never became a cop and he never became the Flash. More of an impact would have been super cool. So
yeah, but Wonder Woman wears a cape in here way earlier than I remember her wearing a cape.
She does. That's true. That is true. Fashion choices.
That wasn't a cape. That was traditional costume for going to the White House.
And Hawkgirl was like, sure it is. Yeah.
Well, Chad, we haven't heard from you yet. Thoughts on JLA the Nail?
No, I'm somewhere in between. I agree with everything that Jay said, that where it is a little bit weak sauce because the impact, and Mikey alluded to it as well, where the impact of Superman, you don't feel the absence of Superman early on in this book. It's very much status quo. And to your point, Andy, that's kind of what you liked about it. Like, everything felt like, oh, this is what these characters should be like, and yada, yada, yada. And so I can see that from both sides. For me, I don't know, parts of this touched a little too close to modern politics and like, oh, there's aliens doing this. We got to take care of this. And like, I'm breathing in through my teeth because I don't want that. And there were parts of the story that were, I kept waiting for the impact of Superman to be bigger and more pronounced earlier than it was. Like, we don't even get a sniff of him until the third book. Mm-hmm. And this stuff like, oh, he's the guy who's responsible for Joker's gauntlets, kind of, sort of. But we don't find that out until much later. You get that horrifying scene with Batman, watching Robin and Batgirl with the Joker, but you don't really understand any of the impact. And so I think Alan Davis tried to withhold too much for too long, as opposed to just laying out like, oh, there were big changes. There were things afoot. I don't think we get enough Lex Luthor. Any Superman story, that's going to involve him should have more Lex Luthor sprinkled throughout than what we get. And so I just, on one hand, it's nice because the superhero levels are there, but the story levels needed tweaked and amped up a little bit. So I don't know. I'm of two minds, I guess, is what I'm getting at.
Well, I'm glad that you brought that up, Chad, because that was, I'm not going to say that this is a 4 when I get to my rating. There were some things that I had issue with. One of them was like, it seemed like there were a lot of plot lines that didn't kind of go anywhere. And I get that eventually they would have JLA another nail to maybe tie some of those up. But to me, it's like you have this original series. Like, if you need to make it a couple more issues from the start, make it a couple more issues from the start. Maybe he didn't have that choice. But if you don't have that choice, then like you gotta cut out some of the superfluous stuff. I like the Outsiders. They set up that separate thing after Green Arrow was smashed by Amazo. Like, you get that they built it and they pepper it with cool guys like Black Lightning and Geoforce and Katana, and it's cool. But I don't know if it was needed other than for cameos.
I was going to say that the payoff was nothing. It was just boring. We had these guys.
You get the force field around the Earth. that was started, and like you get some, but then that causes a war over at New Genesis, and again, super cool that you get Alan Davis drawing all the New Gods characters. Like, oh my gosh, like there's this one scene they bring Barda and Scott in to stand in front of Darkseid, and there's one of those Alan Davis hot chicks with the long legs standing in her Desaad robes. And I'm like, yeah, now we're talking.
You're easy to please. You're so easy to please, yeah.
I am, but also it was nice. I mean, come on, Mikey, you like getting to see beautiful. Alan Davis draw all of these characters from the DC universe. Whether, again, they were just glorified cameos was cool. Mm-hmm. But then at the end of the day, they were just glorified cameos. They were just like, they were in there, and that did bother me.
So like you say, he's one of those artists that I will buy a book about characters that I don't follow. You know, like his Marvel books that he's done, like the Fantastic Four: The End or whatever it was. I bought that. I don't follow the characters, but Alan Davis did it. But anyway, does lead to the next story, and I don't know if it was intended to be one big 6-issue thing, and they just broke it up but all of the New Genesis stuff and all of the Apocalypse stuff actually does affect the. Yeah, and this is what Another Nail is about. There's a war on Apocalypse and how that affects people of Earth, and Kal-El coming into his new role and things like that. So it does pay off eventually. Now the thing is like does the it pays off eventually make this a better story on its own, because it was released on its own, and so you know what I mean. That's a failure that a lot of comic things run into. So I don't know, mileage varies, I guess.
In the second story, the second nail or Another Nail, whatever it's called, does Harrison Ford show up to protect Kal-El's family from the cops?
You'd think he would, you know.
You're terrible. You're terrible.
At least somebody should have been there to witness it. I don't know. I tried.
It's a fine pool, but 'tis no barn, English.
'Tis no barn, English.
I think it's a weakness of this particular book. As I said, I think that if you're going to tell a story about how, without a nail, this is all what happens to the JLA and this entire world, but at the end of the day, really the story is about like, well, what happens when you bring Superman back in the equation? Because that's what you need. Like, if you're going to go toe-to-toe with the New Gods, you need Superman at the helm. So I get that that's why they waited for all the New God stuff until that, because you need your heavy hitter to kind of rally the troops. But like, I don't know. The more I talk about this, no, it's got that great Alan Davis art. It's got like a Green Lantern that I actually, cared about. Yeah, I don't know. He had the Star Sapphire, and I was like, I know who all these people are. It was like watching the Justice League TV show. Like, I was like, I know what these people are. Hawkgirl was cool. It's like, I know who Hawkgirl is. Adam actually did something for once. His powers were cool. I was like, oh, look at that. Adam's cool. I like him.
Yeah, but Batman's a chump in this. I don't like chumpy Batman.
You don't like Tyr?
And I get that the Joker this came out, I assume, after Killing Joke.
Yeah, this is 98. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, so Joker's evil, but basically the argument is with no Superman and Joker having Kryptonian gauntlets, he will then wantonly kill people in the most gruesome way possible and still not get to kill Batman. I mean, he still ends up being the evil villain who says bad things and then, I'm not going to watch you die, I'm going to walk out of the room so that I just assume you die.
I will say with the Joker, the other thing, with the whole Batman thing, it reminded me a lot of Darwin Cook's New Frontier, and the kind of like that coda where Superman comes back and Batman's a little less dark because he's got Robin and stuff. You would think that would still happen, that like Batman would still be not so dark. He still has Robin and Batgirl. Superman not being around doesn't really change. Like, that one kind of like, I was like, no, he's still got those guys. So like, he should be nicer. He should be not as feared by the press and everybody.
And Lois Lane just didn't seem as competent as Lois Lane should be either. I didn't like that.
God damn it, Lois.
Well, we got to get to ratings because we've got more on this episode. So we're going to get to our 1 out of 4 scale for JLA The Nail. Jay Scott's going to be nice enough to give it to us. What do we got this week?
We have 1 out of 4 metal fasteners.
Okay.
Either it's buttons or snaps or something.
That's great.
Or nails.
Or nails.
I'm going to go with a hook and eyelet setup.
Ooh.
Yes, right. Old school.
Well, we're going to start off with Mikey Wood because when I told him that we were going to have him on this episode to read JLA The Nail, he was somewhat excited. So in revisiting this particular book, Mikey, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I still like it a lot. The whole sales is the Alan Davis artwork for me. So I'll get excited anytime I have to do an Alan Davis anything. I love Alan Davis's stuff. I love it. Back when he was doing Detective, it was just great. He drew Robin with these big giant round white eyes and everything, and like he was just awesome. Story wise, it's fine. Like it's fine. It's definitely like a 2.5 or 3 for me. I'd probably push it to 3 just because the artwork is so gorgeous. Like everything is so beautiful. So yeah, I'd say a 3. But I mean, are there things I would have done differently? Does it hit the same as like Jay was right? Red Sun does the trope a lot more interesting, especially considering the Soviet inclusions in there and things. But yeah, I mean, I certainly would recommend it. I do recommend reading the second half too, just because it's all in one book now. So go ahead, But yeah.
I guess with the second half, do they nail the ending? Not mentioned yet by Chad, who's our resident newsie, is the Bill O'Reilly turn of Perry White in the book. Without Clark Kent, cub reporter, Perry White goes truly unhinged before being killed.
That's a little disappointing.
Yeah,
expect more out of the chief.
I was expecting more out of you. I thought you were going to be all over that little story plot point. I did feel like they were throwing in to your point, Andrew, a lot of characters for cameos. The first 2 issues seemed to be very, very concentrated on the mystery of it all, and it was a bit mystery boxy. I mean, there's no Superman, so you kind of know, well, this is going to revolve around Superman at some point. So the mystery box aspect of the story, I thought was, I don't know, I didn't appreciate it. I guess I wanted something a little more straightforward because that Superman will eventually have to show up in some form. The art was beautiful, but I just felt let down a lot by the story. So I guess just to go back to my original thoughts, it's a 1.5 for me.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go next, and I'm going to kind of counterbalance that a little bit. As I said, I'm not going to give this a full 4 because as I talked about it with you guys, like more and more of like the glaring story issues. And maybe Alan Davis should have been paired with somebody that could have helped out with some of the writing duties.
Yes. That's if Alan Davis had been paired with J.M. DeMatteis on this.
Yeah.
I think that it had the potential. The idea is interesting. The execution of the story, back to you.
And some of the parts didn't go far enough as well. To be honest, when I initially heard of JLA The Nail in a story where like Superman wasn't rescued by the Kents, wouldn't it have been much more interesting if he died? Like, because he was not saved as an infant, I don't know, wolves ate him. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, it would be hard to eat Superman because he's still under our yellow sun. He's still probably indestructible, but whatever. I don't know. It would have been neat to see like that he wasn't saved at all. And so you got a storyline in which Superman never would have existed at all. But gosh, it's got Alan Davis on art and those cameos. I don't care if they're just there for cameos. He puts Shade the Changing Man in this book and makes him look cool. Makes him look cool, damn it. Like his power set made sense, which was awesome. You got all those villains in Arkham, like all this classic Batman rogues just punching each other. You got Catwoman dressing up like Batwoman, which was nice. I liked that. I don't care if Chad thought it wasn't a great costume. I liked it. And
plus Alfred's head's too big. He looks like Sinestro.
I will say, too, that I don't know, the Kryptonian review of Jimmy Olsen was kind of let down because if I was talking about going back to the roots and just giving me classic JLA, right? Like you would get with Kurt Busiek and George Perez on Avengers, the bad guy should have been Starro. They kind of teased it. It looked like a starfish. He kind of controlled people's minds. I was like, it's got to be Starro. Like, where are you going with this? Starro, that's the guy that we need as the baddie. Taking over Lex, taking over whatever. I actually thought it was going to be revealed that Starro had taken over Superman. And Superman was actually the real bad guy behind all of it. But then it ended up being Jimmy Olsen. I'm like, shrugs, I don't know about this. So I'm going to give it a solid 3 still because it's the art. I would give this book a 2.75 just based on the art, and then give it a plus 0.5 because, you know, the story was okay. And again, it was characters that these were classic versions of the JLA, which if you've never read in JLA, you're going to know who these characters are immediately and you're going to enjoy it. Chad?
Was I the only one that was like really shocked that they killed off all the Bizarro clone Supermen just kind of off screen? Like, everybody else have to go back and like, wait, they're gone?
Yeah, they went down like chumps. They were set up as these ultimate bad guys that were just knocking out all the superheroes and putting them in alien camp. And then from one panel to the next, they went to like, they wasted all their energy and they're disintegrating. Kind of like Crypto, who was Starro, Crypto, dog thing, bad juju DNA. And so that I didn't understand that one either, because Crypto doesn't have bad juju DNA in the normal universe. Why does he have bad juju DNA here? Because Jimmy Olsen didn't give him kibbles?
Yeah, because Jimmy Olsen's a dick. But no, so the unfulfilled potential of those guys is similar to the unfulfilled potential of this book. I do like the Alan Davis art of it all, and it is fun to see him taking on so many of those classic DC characters in the costumes that you want them to be in, except for Catwoman, who wears that horrendous Batwoman costume. But that in itself is not able to elevate it over the fact that the story never follows through on any of the premises. And I didn't read Another Nail. And so, like, this is just okay. You know, it had some good ideas, but then kind of let down. It had some ideas that were clunkers that could have been made awesome, but it's all right. It's just all right. It's a 2.75. And I still want to know, Superman gets blasted and it takes out his beard, but not his long 90s hair.
You know, I wonder if
that 90s hair was fierce. That had a mind of its own. You couldn't kill that.
Which also goes to, you had said you wanted to know what would happen if a world without Superman. Well, we do know what happens. You would have gotten a cybernetic one. You would have gotten a boy one. You would have gotten Steel.
The one with the sunglasses.
Yeah.
Well, it is now time to get to the rest of the episode of The Last Comic Shop. We'll be right back with more of this. We got a game. It's going to be scenarios. Jay's going to host. Yay!
Hi, it's Carlo Calantuan, and I'm back with another message to save you money. Whether it's comic books, baseball cards, or other memorabilia, use the promo code LCSPOD to get 10% off every order at bcwsupplies.com. Not only does it give you a discount on BCW's already low prices, but using LCSPOD at checkout is an amazing way to support the Last Comic Shop podcast. So if you're in need of collectible supplies, head out to bcwsupplies.com and use the promo code LCSPOD today. And guys, now that you've reviewed Trece, I eagerly await your coverage of Darna.
We're all familiar with the Golden Age, Silver Age, Bronze Age, and Modern Age of comics, but we can't still be in the Modern Age after almost 4 decades, can we?
We don't think so. And that's why we started the Iron Age of Comics, a critical re-evaluation of comic books from about 1985 to 2000.
On this podcast, we go beyond the chromium covers and the grim and gritty cliches, and take a deep dive into one of the most vibrant but divisive periods in comics history.
That's the Iron Age of Comics, with new episodes every first and third Wednesdays of the month. And look for us on social media, where the handle is @Iron Age of Comics.
Hello, Internet! It's George from Shortbox Summary. I started going to the comic shop every week when I was a kid back in 2004, and I thought it was a golden era for the medium. While my first love is comics, my second love is the 2000s. So please join me as I revisit the mid-2000s comic book scene to figure out if the books were good or if I was just 15. This is a retrospective show that takes a look back at Marvel, starting with Avengers Disassembled and talking about the movies, music, TV, sports, and everything in between that made that era what it was. If you like the Last Comic Shop podcast, please give Shortbox Summary a listen, because I like the Last Comic Shop podcast, and I invite those guys on as much as I possibly can. Hope to see you soon, true believers.
All right, we're back with more of the Last Comic Shop, and it is now time for a game. Yes, that's right. We oftentimes have games at the beginning of the shows, but this game has a life of its own, and oftentimes takes the whole rest of the episode to get through. So we always pair it at the end, and that is scenarios. That's right. If you've ever listened to a Last Comic Shop episode when we played scenarios, it goes like this. There's going to be a number of rounds. Our host master, JA, is going to throw out a scenario, like which comic book character would be best at building a bridge. And then Chad, me, and Mikey will all come with a name of a character secretly. And then one by one, we will reveal our character.
George W. Bridge.
See? I was thinking the Thing, because he knows how to work with masonry. He's made of the Brooklyn Bridge. Plus, he's got... So just put all the blocks together. Anyways, so yeah, we'll all throw out one. We'll give an explanation as to why we thought this was, and then JA will vote. The one rule for scenarios is once a character is thrown out by any of us, they cannot be used for the rest of the game. So if one of us throws out Batman because he's the best at everything, of course he could build a bridge, then nobody else can use Batman.
Yeah. Not in the Nail universe. Batman's a chump.
Chump.
He cries. He's sensitive. He's a sensitive soul. He gives
Fucking
Catwoman
baby.
a hug. All right. Well, JA, without further ado, take it away with our first scenario.
Okay, as they say, April showers bring May flowers, and with May comes Memorial Day and the start of summer. So I'm looking ahead to fairer weather. I've got scenarios that sort of revolve around summertime fun.
Ooh, nice. I'm looking forward to that.
The first one is one of them that if you've got a pool, you need to do before you can let the kiddies go swimming after sitting dormant all winter long, and that is finding a good pool cleaner. So who are you going to get to clean your pool for the summertime?
Who am I going to get to clean my pool? All right. I've got mine.
I got mine.
I think mine is great. If I don't win this,
okay, Andrew, why don't you go first in this round then?
All right. Well, not only does the guy know his way around a pool of H2O, but also, like any good, reliable hunk, that would be the pool cleaner that, I don't know, the housewives, say a Sue Storm, would want to come over and start cleaning the pool. That's right. It is Namor the Submariner. That's right. Who do you want to come over and clean your pool? If you're one of those darling housewives of the 616, you want Namor, because not only is he going to clean your pool, but he's going to be there cleaning your pipes, too. That's right. Woo, doggies! Plus, you know, he can do it real fast and swim around there and still have plenty of energy for all the other things. Bow, chicka, bow, bow.
Like the Prince of Atlantis is slumming it doing chores.
Okay.
All right.
For Sue Storm, he would slum it all day long.
On that note, let's move to Chad.
I've never owned a pool, but I know one of the things you got to do is you got to shock the water, right? You got to shock it. And so I don't want to bring the shocker in though, because that'll mess up all the concrete and everything around the pool. So the guy I'm going to get to shock, no, Mikey, no, put that away. The guy that's going to shock the water is Electro. He's going to come in and he's going to shock it and zap it and kill everything that's inside. And he's always hurting for money. So he's the guy who's going to do it on the cheap, and he's going to come in and he's going to clean everything up, and then he's going to have his buddy Sandman come in and just lay down in the bottom and then scoop everything out of there and take it back out with him to the ocean and wash it all away. And then his other Sinister Six pals are going to be there helping him out. Dr. Octopus is there. Doc Dude, I don't know. But yeah, man. I'm getting the whole Sinister Six involved here, buddy. You got the lizard. He's out there. He's eating creatures along the side.
The Sinister Six.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
You're taking all the characters. We can't use any of these ones now.
It's the Sinister Six Pool Company. Yeah, and then Craven's there. He's your man candy off the side with his vest open. Just, talking about contracts and getting everything done the right way.
Oh, come on.
Yes.
So there you go. I was just going to go Electro at first, but he's bringing the whole Sinister Squad.
Namor knows how to shock him. Namor knows how to shock him. He knows all the moves.
All right. Interesting.
Yes.
Mikey, who you got?
Yes. Okay. So cleaning a pool, right? You remove the cover from it. It's all filled with algae and other sorts of things. Maybe some dead frogs. Maybe some dead squirrels. We don't know. Whatever the hell happened in there. It's got to be cleaned. Whole thing's got to be cleaned. It's disgusting.
Gotta shock it.
It's going to take Got to shock it. We've already got that covered. It takes forever. You got to vacuum it. You got to add chemicals to it. Sometimes you even got to just switch the water out. It takes forever. And it is the summer, and the kids are screaming, "Daddy, when's the pool going to be ready?" Ain't nobody got time for that shit. I chose the Flash.
Which one? Because there's plenty. Which one are you using? Because this is important, because we could use other Flashes. What do you got? I'm
going to use the Barry Allen Flash, because Wally West you'd have to feed, right? Barry Allen didn't have the whole. Did Barry have to eat too?
I think they all have to eat.
Nah.
Yeah, sooner or later.
If you don't feed them, they'll die.
I'll still go with Barry, because I like Barry. His name's Barry.
He does sound like Barry Allen pool cleaner.
Yeah. Honey, who's that? Oh, that's Barry.
Three locations. Three hot dogs for the
up
kids.
with the badge, wearing the shirt with the berry patch.
He knows his way around chemicals too, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, unlike Wally, he knows his way around chemicals.
Well, I don't know if he knows his way around chemicals. I mean, there's that accident and everything.
I still don't know how Wally West got his powers. I have no idea. I have no clue. Does anybody?
Yeah, Barry Allen was the lightning bolt that got him.
Oh.
It was the same origin as just again.
Oh, just again.
All right, JA, you heard all three.
All right, well, I like the idea of Flash because you can do everything very quick, but the problem is that he's also, when you're putting chemicals in a pool, then you got to wait and let the chemicals react to the pool water. So I don't know what the Flash is going to be doing while the chemicals are going very, very slow with the pool water. Namor, I think he's got the look, but I don't think he would be a very effective pool cleaner. Because, as Chad said, he is the prince of the ocean. He's got better things to be doing. He would be cleaning the pipes rather than cleaning the pool. So I've got to go with Electro and the Sinister Six on this one. I do want to point out that all of you missed the low-hanging fruit of the Joker. Because when it comes to chemicals and giant vats of water, who better than the Joker?
He's giving us a little insight into the way he thinks.
But he uses too much chlorine. Everybody who swims in his pool comes out with green hair.
They come up looking spectacular.
Scenario number 2 is Chad takes the early lead here, JA.
Scenario number 2, pool is now clean. The kiddies are jumping in the pool. You've got your barbecue on. Can't have a barbecue without a dessert. Who are you going to get to make the homemade ice cream?
Ooh, the homemade ice cream. Let's see here.
So let me know when you guys have your things and all.
All right. I have my answer right here.
You ready?
I am.
Okay. All right, we're going to lead off with Chad on this one.
Okay, so you would think, as a big Iceman fan, that's who I would go with. But no, you're having somebody who's bringing the dessert. You want something extra with it, right? You don't want just ice cream. You want, a little spice. You want a little bit of fire in there. You want, that's right, you want fire and ice from the Justice League International. And so they're going to bring the whole Justice League along with them, so nobody can use those characters either. But they're going to be there. Things are going to get salty.
I call foul.
No, man, the Justice League membership card brings you to the party, buddy. And so, Fire and Ice are making and distributing ice cream, and Superman's helping to pass things out, and Batman's, got his bat cooler. And it's like the Dippin' Dots of the future. He's just throwing out bat pellets to help distribute things. I don't know, but I use the whole JLI, but Fire and Ice mainly.
All right. Moving on to Mikey.
I'm going to choose. I'm just so the biggest thing about ice cream, especially in the summer, is keeping it cold, man. Like, you get the ice cream out and everybody's all excited, and then you give a couple of scoops and suddenly you got soup. You got containers of soup. So who best to help out at your barbecue than someone who's familiar with all sorts of cold producing equipment? And I chose Victor Freeze, Mr. Freeze. To help
okay.
out Mr. Freeze. That's right.
Right. Andrew.
So, unlike everybody else that went with the cold tip, I went with somebody that actually would know how to make really good homemade ice cream. And when I think of homemade ice cream, what do I think of? Good old-fashioned farmhouses in the middle of nowhere, somebody that knows their way around, milking a cow, turning that good stuff into delicious, that it is so good that it can feed superheroes. And actually one of the best superheroes. And that's why I went with Ma Kent. That's right, Ma Kent. Good old Ma Kent out of Smallville. Who do you want making you that homemade vanilla ice cream from scratch but Ma Kent?
You're a monster. She's very old and has arthritis.
So old.
It was good enough for Clark. It was good enough for Superman. It was good enough for all of the folks that Superman brought over to his farmhouse. That's who you want. Not just somebody that knows their way around cold, but somebody that actually knows how to make homemade ice cream.
Rumor has it she was the best at hand churning back in college.
Why do you think Pa Kent
worked? But whose milk jugs do you want around? Fire and Ice or Ma Kent?
For the win, baby!
I have to agree with Andrew on this one. The only person that could make ice cream better than Ma Kent is probably the Amish Ma Kent from The Nail. Chad, just too many cooks in the ice cream on this one.
I gotcha.
And Mikey Wood, I thought Mr. Freeze, just too easy.
I thought so too.
Yes.
Yep.
He doesn't seem fun.
Yeah.
What's not fun about a bald man? Bald men are fun.
Okay. Next one, we're going.
I'm still imagining his ice cream sound, like the song they play on the truck. This is be real sad.
My wife is dying. Yeah.
No,
he's in the back.
around the 4th of July, you've got all the neighborhood celebrating and whatnot, and there's always that one dad on the street that has access to possibly illegal fireworks. There's always one. There's one dad on the street that's got it all. I don't know. He drove across the state, went across the border, he came back from some sketchy place with these giant boxes of gunpowder and other stuff to make massive fireworks. So, who would be the fireworks dad of your superhero neighborhood?
Oh, I got this one right away.
Oh, do you now? I wonder if it's going to be the same one. You know what? I'm going to switch it up. I was going with originally somebody, but now I'm going to go with this one instead.
We'll say, hope they weren't in the Justice League. I used them up last time.
Yeah.
Cheater! You cheat!
You ready to go, Mikey?
You're Eddie Guerrero over here.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I am.
All right.
Oh wait, does he have to be? I'm sorry, does he have to be a superhero or just a comic book character?
No, just
Comic book
Oh, you
character.
just did Ma Kent.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
Ma Kent. All right. Are you ready? Okay, we're gonna
Yeah.
lead off. We're gonna lead off with Mikey on this round.
Okay. Nothing says irresponsible father better than Silas Stone. Yeah. Right? I'm going to turn my son into a half robot thing. Monstrosity. Until he finds the Teen Titans to hang out with. Silas Stone, for those who may not know, is Vic Stone's father, and Vic Stone is former college football player turned car accident victim turned cyborg on the Teen Titans, and Silas Stone is his father who did that. So yeah.
All right. Probably gets his son to set up some of those fireworks that, get a starter blowing off some fingers.
Yeah, right. Go ahead. You can hold it. It's fine. He's the kind of dad that who would say shit like, "Oh, get up, you're fine." Like, he would be that guy.
It's just a flesh wound.
Where are my legs? Yeah, you're fine.
All right. Andrew.
So let me unpack this, because one year, Reed Richards decided he was going to be the cool dad, and he was going to put together this huge fireworks display at the Baxter Building, pull in all these other things and stuff like that. It was tremendous, and all the Marvel Universe showed up and they said, "Oh, Reed, that was really, really great." But that led to my pick, my true pick, which was Dr. Doom coming in the next year and saying, Reed, you haven't seen nothing yet. You want to see irresponsible science and magic? Boy, howdy, I got that in spades. You want to see some, demons dropping giant explosions in the air? That's what I can do. And trust me, I'm motivated, because I saw your display, Reed, and it sucked compared to Doom. And Doom can do it. He does it every year for all of Latveria. I'm sure that they have the most spectacular, they don't even have 4th of July there. They have Von Doomsday, I think. I don't know, whatever. But he would be really good just to show up, Reed, and the bunch of the folks over there at the Baxter Building. That's the kind of dad you want leading up your fireworks displays.
All right, Chad.
All right, so this has a real life basis, and I know he'll probably never hear this, but this goes out to my buddy Ben, who his dad is a well-respected lawyer in our community, a pillar, and he also puts on the world's most reckless fireworks shows, where he's lighting them off a foot away and then running and screaming like a little girl, diving under. And so I was trying to think, what dad could I think of in comics that simultaneously carries a high level of respect and esteem and power, but also is so incredibly reckless? And I got the best answer. It's Odin. Think of the power that Odin wields over Asgard. Meanwhile, this guy comes up with the Odin sleep, so he can take a 2-week-long nap and nobody can bother him, right? But this is a guy, Asgardians know how to party, and Odin knows how to party. And you want to have a fireworks display, you want to have anything, Odin is your man. And then the next day, Odin's the one up, bright and early in the morning, making eggs and bacon, and be like, "Hey, everybody, how you doing?" Everybody else is wrecked. But Odin, he can handle it, because that's what Odin is. Odin's the most motherfuckeriest that's ever and he's gonna again and then wake up and smile about it, and then everybody has no choice but to respect him.
He does it with one eye.
That's right. He doesn't even need both eyes. Depth perception is for pussies. It's Odin.
I do worry about Odin lighting those fireworks with the one eye. How long is it going to take him to get the flash to the wick and everything?
You're off the chain this game.
Yeah. I still have to go with Mikey Wood, though. Best irresponsible dad. Here, son, just hold it.
Hey, I'm so happy about that.
All right.
Stylus.
So we've got one more. This is the tiebreaker for all the marbles. I alluded to it earlier in the ice cream challenge. Nobody goes to a weekend or 4th of July barbecue just for the ice cream or for the pool or for the fireworks. They go for the food. And there's always that one dad or uncle or neighbor who just takes over the barbecue duties. It might not even, he shows up just to hang out, and then he suddenly, oh, I can do the barbecue, and he's the one on the barbecue. And oftentimes, either goes really well or it goes really badly based on your barbecue cook. So who's going to be the barbecue cook?
All right, I got mine.
Ready, Chad? You ready, Mikey?
I am.
Good to go.
Okay, we'll lead off with Andrew.
All right. Well, when I think of the quintessential barbecue master, I think of not only somebody that knows his way around the standard cookout cuisine, burgers, dogs, good old steaks, but also somebody that looks cute in an apron, somebody that can chat it up with folks coming over to the barbecue. Oh, you think that that hot dog's done? Well, I heard that. Did you see the ball game the other day? You need somebody to be able to talk to all the folks here. And who does this? And who do you think of but the ever-loving blue-eyed thing? He's getting that little apron. He's got his little chef's hat on. He's fireproof, so no worry about burning himself. Flipping the dogs, flipping the burgers, talking shop with all of the folks that are stopping by at that neighborhood gathering. Leisha's bringing out the extra plates. It's what you think of. The quintessential common man. He's got maybe a kick me sign on the back. Maybe Johnny put it on there, but it's all in good fun. And he laughs it off, and it's good stuff. Blue-eyed thing for the win.
I think you're channeling the recent movie where the Thing was played by the guy from The Bear.
Jeff, yeah. Her cousin,
Yes.
cousin.
If
Yes,
the
cousin.
shoe fits. If the shoe fits.
Mikey.
I think one of the things that is important about grilling food is the ability to adapt, because fire is chaos. It can be controlled chaos, but one never knows. You have to be able to know when to cook and know what to do with what you're given. And I think there's no better example of being able to adapt to a situation that you never asked for, and then also being able to cook at the same time than Alfred Pennyworth. Suddenly he's got a kid. The people he works for go out to a movie and die, and suddenly he's got a kid, and he's got to do this thing and raise this kid who, and I'm sure that there were some cases where he had to adapt on the fly for food and the such. So I think Alfred would be great, and he also looks good. He's got an apron that says "Kiss the cook" full on the mouth. That he does. I've seen it. So, yeah.
All right.
Alfred.
Probably good at making tea as well.
Right. And potato salad.
Chad.
Alfred puts raisins in his potato salad.
Oh, Alfred.
So for this is going to be a bit of a cop-out, but it was the first thing I thought of. I don't know about you guys, but anytime I've ever, been in a barbecue experience, man, I'm sweating it. There's so many different things going on, and you're trying to do things well, and you want everything to be perfect, but it never is. There's always something wrong. And there's that one guy that just shows up, and darn it, they're so good at what they do. And so I have no choice but to go with stupid, sexy Ned Flanders.
Oh, Flanders.
Because he would just waltz over and be so nice about it. Because he's so much better at everything he does. Stupid, sexy Ned Flanders.
It's like we're nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Idly ho. Yeah.
All right. Well, I have to say, it's all coming up Millhouse, because definitely Ned Flanders for the win, and Chad takes this edition of
He was the one that was most off the chain. So just for his enthusiasm, I would agree with that. In any case, one thing that we hope to combine more often is The Last Comic Shop and Mikey Wood. But if you haven't listened to all those episodes with Mikey over the years, make sure that you're getting out to www.lastcomicshoppodcast.com and listening to them. Because my gosh, Mikey has been the guest host we've had the most. And so there is a plethora of past episodes with Mikey Wood on The Last Comic Show over the past 6 years, including a mega pack, which is still available. Yeah. He does all Marvel books on that, but he's on it. And some of those Marvel books are pretty good. There's Long Shot and Infinity Gauntlet and Rom the Space Knight and Sensational She-Hulk, the original John Byrne run. So check out that mega pack as well as other great episodes every single week. Just going out to www.lastcomicshoppodcast.com.
And don't forget to check out your local comic shop. That's right. We might be the Last Comic Shop podcast. We don't want to be the Last Comic Shop. So get out there. They just re-released the JLA The Nail in a very fancy format there, where you can find those back issues. All that and more waits for you at your local comic shop. And then circle back online. Most of the socials were at Last Comic Shop Podcast, or we have the website, www.lastcomicshoppodcast.com, where you can find links to all sorts of things and different posts. And what else do we have cooking this week, J.A.?
Always have a link to our merch store where we sell t-shirts, coffee mugs, tote bags, shorts. This week, we got a special on plain clothing. That's right. No logos. It's just black and white. So disappointed there wasn't more Amish stuff in that book.
Yes.
I know how much you love Witness. What I love is folks spending money on their comic book supplies. And Mikey, what's an easy way for you to do that?
If I had to buy comic book boxes, and I do, I go to BCW and buy my comics from there. And the reason I do that is because, A, they have high quality boxes and boards and bags and fancy pants, thick plastic boxes that the rich guys use, all sorts of stuff. And you can get a discount by using our little code, which is LCSPOD. So it's LCS for Last Comic Shop, POD for pod as in podcast, LCSPOD. Get yourself a nice little discount, help support the show. That still allows me to come in every so often, which is nice. And so there's
He's going to come in. We love having you.
We love you, Mikey. You are, as I said, you are wonderful. And we love having you on the show. And until next time, when we hope that Mikey will join us for another comic book. I was the host with the most, Andy Larson. I was joined by Jay Scott and Chad Smith, as well as the originally wonderful Mikey Wood. And we hope that you stay safe. Stay
plain. And remember to be safe among the English.
That's right. We need to watch this Witness movie.
Comic Shop Podcast was a 2026 Black Angus production.